Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Clash PR. In today's video, I will be going over the new Fear the Walking Dead trailer and talking about major leaks that I acquired from a person on set of the upcoming final season. The first segment of today's video will be completely spoiler-free, going over Fear the Walking Dead's recent trailer, but the second half will be going entirely over leaks I got from the source on set of Season 8. I'll make a warning once I start talking about the leaks, so if you don't want to be spoiled, make sure to click off once I start talking about them. Without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer and let's point out some of the major stuff. Well, that's actually not going to happen, guys. It's Clash PR right now after editing and post-production. I just realized I can't play the Fear the Walking Dead Season 8 trailer without getting copyright claimed. So, if you guys want to watch the trailer, the link's down below. And I'm just going to pick up back from where the video started. Okay, first things first, Clear Morgan is returning, boys. I love how they show the red borders as we see the horrific experiments going on in Padre. I really hope this Clear Morgan is just like the one we saw in Season 8. I personally feel like Morgan's character had the most depth here, and it really matches how much he's been through. And of course, the elephant in the room, Rick's name being dropped. This is absolutely massive, guys. Ever since Andrew Lincoln's departure from The Walking Dead over 4 years ago now, Rick's name has almost never been mentioned. And if Rick was mentioned, it was never by his name. It was rather just a friend or him. And even though Morgan doesn't directly say his name, he references what Rick told him in Season 4, Episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead.
Like I said, you can hide, but you can't run.
And Grace also said his name while Morgan was holding the rifle that Rick gave him in Season 1, Episode 1 of The Walking Dead. It's also confirmed there's going to be a 7-year time jump this season. So the fact that Morgan returns to his old house where he looked after Rick and had to watch his son and wife die is just such an amazing callback to 13 years ago when the first episode aired. I also think this is 100% confirmation we'll be seeing a reunion between the two. I can't even contain my excitement since these two characters are literally my favorite and I will watch anything that contains them. Other than those two major things, it really looks like this season is going to be focused on the Padre storyline. I'm not sure what Padre's purpose is, but after seeing some of these shots, especially this one here, it honestly looks like the most sinister place we've seen in this universe yet. I don't really have any predictions, to be honest, since I also feel like Padre is also just a way of doing a time skip to match the timelines of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. Like a cheat code just to get it over with, you know? But of course, we're just gonna have to see. I really hope it's interesting and it does play a major role in the season and it isn't dragged on. So that's all the information that we know. Clear Morgan returning, Morgan's old house, Rick's name drop, and a major time skip. But what about the information that's a little more secret? Well, now it's time for the leaks. This is the final major spoiler warning. Now is your time to click off if you don't want to be spoiled. I want to give a shout out to Numbing Null for providing me with all of this valuable information about Fear the Walking Dead Season 8. I won't be disclosing what role this person played to protect their identity, but I can, without a doubt, confirm that this information is true. The role this person plays is only for 8x11 and 8x12, yet the details I obtained is more than enough to be able to make this video. I'm gonna try my best to recap and explain what happens in these two episodes, as well as tell you guys the answers to major questions you might have. There's a very high chance I'm going to be wrong in my order of explaining these events, but I promise all of this is correct. Before I recap and explain the episodes, I'm going to answer 3 major questions in order to support the recap. Number 1. Is Troy Otto alive? Yes. Number 2. Who's going to die? Most likely, Sherry. Number 3. Is Alicia returning? It depends. Now I will recap all of the information I got about 8x11 and 8x12, and I will separate it into 2 categories: the Frozen Horde and the Final Stand. The Frozen Horde follows Troy and Madison, while the Final Stand follows Dwight and Sherry. And remember, this explanation will start pretty abruptly since my information is limited. Anyways, without further ado, let's start off with the Frozen Horde. Troy and his men find a frozen lake filled with approximately 5,000 walkers. All of these walkers are entirely frozen in place. Troy lights the lake on fire, causing thousands of walkers to come back to life, gaining the name Singed Walkers. Troy's plan is to lead these walkers to Padre in order to take it down. So that means if Troy is against Padre, he most likely won't be the villain of Season 8. But why is he against Padre? Well, Troy now has a daughter. He and his daughter get in a truck with boomboxes attached to it and lead the walkers towards Padre. Also, a quick side note that I noticed when reading over these leaks is the number of callbacks this season will have. This isn't the first time Troy has directed a massive horde to a settlement, and it's nice the new writers didn't forget Troy's way of thinking. A big question you guys might have is how the heck did Troy survive? He was bludgeoned twice in the head by Madison, and if the brain damage wasn't fatal, the thousands of gallons of water to his exposed brain was. Well, I don't know how he survived, but don't get angry about this yet. There is some speculation that 8A's finale will reveal that Troy is alive. Then 8B's first episode will be a full Troy-centric episode explaining how he survived, which could also mean we might see what happened after the dam exploded. Also, a cool fun fact, this is one of the questions I was most eager to ask for some reason, which was, does Troy have a scar or like a bandage where he was hit? And yeah, he has a scar on his temple where Madison hit him now. So it's not a flashback or hallucination by any means. Other than the scar, Troy looks pretty much the same way he did in season 3. Now, back to the horde. For some context, Padre is located at Fort Jackson. I'm not sure where the Walker Lake is, but the time it takes for Troy to lead the horde to Padre is quite a while considering how much information I have. Eventually, the walkers are led through a resort, going down a paved road. Numbing Null told me that Troy was on set during this specific part, but nowhere in this scene. So it's only Troy's men here. The walkers follow the trucks with boomboxes attached to them. They're being led down a hill to yet another lake, and sitting in front of the lake is a SWAT truck with a red cross sign. Something goes wrong. I'm not sure what, but Troy's men scream, "Get down," and the SWAT truck unloads on the horde, taking out only a few. One of Troy's men on the SWAT truck yells, "No," and 3 other trucks intercept and shoot flares, leading the walkers another way. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm assuming that Padre's soldiers tried retaliating against the attack that Troy initiated on them. Now, this next part is confusing since I don't know what happened in between, but now the horde somehow ends up in a marsh outside of Padre. No clue how, but let's pick up back from what we have on leaks. The walkers are in a swampy marsh area with a constant tide of 8 to 10 feet high coming in and out. From what Numbing Null told me, this wet and muddy environment significantly influences what happens here. Behind the horde is an orange shipping container with Padre written on it, and in front of the horde is a very long dock. At this point, the horde is a variety of singed, wetsuit, hero, and OG walkers. When Numbing Null told me this, I was shocked that the production team made a type of walkers called OG walkers. It could mean OG walkers as in non-singed walkers, or it could be a code name for OG walkers from season 1 of The Walking Dead that could climb and run. I very well believe and hope that we'll see variant walkers in this season, since Fear the Walking Dead will finally be in the present day timeline, and they hinted it in season 7 after a walker threw a gun out of John Dory Sr.'s hand. Anyways, the walkers are going down a dock that leads to a shack, so now they're walking away from the Padre containers. But just before the walkers reach the shack, something happens and all of the walkers turn around to the Padre shipping containers. 4 actors are on a shipping container, one of them being Victor Strand. They have no choice but to run into the shipping container and slam the doors closed. Now, I'm not entirely sure what happened here when I was taking notes. Still, from what I wrote, it says that there were also German-speaking soldiers trying to get into the shipping container with the other 4 main characters that went in. And I know it sounds confusing, German-speaking soldiers, but I think there will be a lot at Padre since there was a casting call for season 8 looking for German speakers to portray soldiers. Something ends up happening inside that shipping container. No idea what. The characters could have fought the soldiers or the soldiers fought them. I really don't know.
They're fucking with the wrong people.
The shipping containers are also protected by some sort of netting that the walkers are ripping through. And just when you thought the people in the container were screwed, a flare suddenly fires out from inside of a nearby structure, and the walkers turn around and follow the light and direction of the flare. Now, directly to the walkers' left is Madison on top of the shipping container. She's holding a flare screaming, "Over here," where she jumps off and leads the walkers to Padre's entrance. Eventually, Madison leads them to the gates of Padre, where they eventually break through the gates and multiple walkers get killed on the spot, but ultimately Madison leads them while holding a flare in the air directing them. She eventually leads them to some sort of doorway that leads to a dead end, where the writers make another callback, this time to Madison's original death, where she led a horde with a flare to a dead end. I'm not sure if she dies here. I understand the writers made this callback, but I don't think she's going to. I think they're doing this as a way to make up for Madison's bad exit and reasoning in season 4. It's going to be so much more meaningful if this scene is just like the season 4 one, but now we know it's to save save a lot of kids like Dwight and Sherry's and Morgan's and Grace's. And that's where the plot, the Frozen Horde, ends. Now let's talk about the final stand. The final stand is actually a subplot of this entire Frozen Horde, but it's a much more secluded group of characters, and it's what I think is responsible for Sherry's death, if she dies. So when the walkers were attacking Padre, Dwight and Sherry were trapped inside of a fighting pit arena. From what I think, I have a feeling this fighting pit is this wooden building shown right here in the trailer, and it's where we also saw people fencing against walkers. The walkers tear through the netting protecting it, and this entire scene is Dwight and Sherry fighting for their lives. Here are also some shots from the trailer that I very well think are this specific scene. So from what I've gathered, I'm pretty sure this is one of the final action scenes in the series, and I really do think this is where Sherry dies for two reasons. First being that Numbing Null told me that this was Christine Evangelista's final day of filming, while Dwight had another day, and of course they film out of order, so it could be nothing. But if we check Christine's Instagram, we see she posted a photo of her final day, and she looks really sick, and around her eyes is black. The fact that this scene is also called the final stand really makes me think that Sherry's fate will be from what happens in this pit. Alright, now the one last final question. Does Alicia return? From what I was told, no. Alicia was never on set of Fear the Walking Dead for the entire time Numbing Null was there. And he wasn't there the entire time, but he was there for the final 2 episodes. Also, he told me that the production team sets up booths for each character that introduces them, and Alicia had none. She was nowhere to be seen. But I would not put it past myself for her to return. If you guys didn't know, Rick's return in the finale of The Walking Dead was actually kind of a last-minute decision and was inserted into the finale a whole 4 months after the show wrapped up. Numbing Null also told me that he heard another extra on set saying that they filmed at Fayetteville, Georgia, which is where the Commonwealth is located. What I think is that the production team could easily get Alicia for one last cameo, where the final surviving characters all reunite at the Commonwealth with a time skip, similar to The Walking Dead's ending. So don't lose hope, guys. And guys, this video took a lot of effort to make. A major shout out to Numbing Null for calling with me on Discord and telling me about this stuff. I also request just one thing from the people who watch this video, and that's that please don't spread the leaks to those who are unaware or don't want to be spoiled. Let's let people enjoy the final season of Fear the Walking Dead. I have a feeling this season will be the best yet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I liked making it, and goodbye.